Welcome back. And what was supposed to be a bit of a maintenance video and the installation of the 6-shooter knuckles has turned into some repair work and potentially delays on parts leading up to our next event. So the plan was to take the old knuckles off and fit the 6-shooter knuckles. A mod I've been looking forward to doing now for a long time. We were so lucky to find these brand new 6-shooter knuckles. The center had to come out. It needed to go to Brian's. We think we need to put pinion bearings in it after the metal that we found on the drain plug. Easy, right? Take the CVs out, take the center out. So it looks like those axle seals are holding that last lot I put in. Genuine Toyota ones. So it's not leaking, and I know that that diff has oil in it. It's going to be interesting to see when we drain the oil how much more metal we've got on that drain plug. These knuckles are going to get changed in this little exercise. We'll be putting the 6-shooters in. Now this is the side that we put together on the side of that mountain where we rolled. The knuckle was off the Forerunner, so before we left for the competition I took the 2 knuckles off the Forerunner with us. So luckily, because on the impact of the rollover we snapped the top studs. So this one was put together in sand and mud. We didn't have any clean rag. We were in a hurry, we needed to make the next stage. So I'm expecting this side to have seal problems. What I've noticed straight away was those hub nuts were actually loose. So no oil from behind that hub like I thought. Let's get the disc off and see. Bearing retaining nut was quite loose. So we would have had quite a bit of play in this wheel on that last event. Very surprised. No gear oil at all out from behind that axle. So those seals are holding, which is great to know. Oh, I'm so intrigued to know what we're going to see on this magnet. My concern was finding the metal in there on the last time we were in there. There's still lots of metal. So Brian's concern was that because that shaft had no play in it for who knows how long, that the pinion bearing has collapsed. But I know how strong these diffs are. Seeing Braden give his the world of pain. It's just in reverse. We did do a reverse on the night stage where we did destroy the tail shaft. So it just pays, it's insurance to pull this out, give it to Brian. He'll put new pinion bearings in it and then we won't have to worry about it, because this last event we just did, we gave it a lot of berries trying to get up all those slippery, muddy hill climbs. They were steep and I was only in the single case with the 4.7s, not in the duals. First gear, just giving it everything on the 40s. For one run, the oil probably isn't as clean as it should be. While that oil's draining, let's just do a little test to see if those nuts did come loose on the knuckles. Did tighten these up before that run. Yeah, they're a little bit loose. Yep. But I'm hoping with these 6-shooters that there's no play ever at all. I might be dreaming. I'm still gonna have to check them. But you know, there's 6 now over 4. So fingers crossed there's no dramas this time with pulling this shaft off. Probably won't be. Last time we didn't have any play here. So you can see the play here. Everything's moving on the engine mount and the gearbox mount, which is not a good sign. I think we've done the same thing as last time. Oh, it's stuck again. That's a worry. This is stuck together good. Another unexpected job now is to completely pull this front shaft out so we can see what's going on with that spline. I've got a funny feeling that this spline can't handle bullet truck's torque with the double cases, but normally we would just cable tie or hockey strap that to the leaf spring. But now it needs to come out to at least go in a vise so we can split it. Let's get those CVs out. Oh, this one's stuck in here and I can't really turn it. It's so tight. So this is the one we put in brand new on the side of the track there. What could possibly be happening? CVs shouldn't be this hard to take out. Another thing I've noticed too is these bump stops, they're starting to get like pushed in. Now we were barely touching the bump stop in years gone by. Passenger side even worse. I'm wondering if the hydro assist is just basically forcing that in when I'm at full lock. So I've taken the tie rod off the arm for a bit of play. Let's see if I can pull that CV out now. All right, here we go. Can't get that off, so I've got no choice. So I'm gonna pull this arm off and put it aside, deal with that tie rod later. I need to get the CV out so I can get that center out. Still no luck here. Now this knuckle's getting taken off and changed anyway. So that's my next move, to remove the knuckle. That bearing is cactus. This knuckle's probably gonna end up in the bin. Now at least we can see why we can't come out. So I'm gonna have to die grind some of this housing here to give us clearance. So something's obviously broken and it's burred up. But you know, I don't understand how the CV can go in 1 year and then time to come out, it's not coming out. Might try just to pry it out. There we go, it's coming out. Just like in the building game, just needs that little bit of prying. Normally we use the jimmy bar. But unfortunately, my crowbar's on a job. This will come out now. And then we'll clean it up before we put all the new stuff back together. There we go, it's coming now. Whoa, C-clips on the axle. Fingers and toes crossed that there's no major damage in this center. So these are 4.6 nitro gears and we're running an ARB air locker. So parts, if we need to change them, there will be a delay. But to the eye, and this is going to be Brian's forte to diagnose, but I'd say all the metal that we saw on that drain plug was from this housing here, the locker housing. So whether we've had a bearing collapse or pull forward, that's definitely touching the pinion. Very tight to turn, but the good news is no teeth chipped on the crown wheel. Brian, you can expect a visit from the disaster fairy in the morning. But mate, I will need it back pretty quick because I've got to get the forerunner out. I've got building materials in there behind it. 3:45 in the morning. The disaster fairy hasn't been to Brian's in a while. There's a few bits and pieces here to keep him busy and out of trouble.
So that looked really bad on the diff case here, but that cut is about 0.15 millimeters. So what looked like a catastrophe was barely any contact at all. So we'll clean that up and it'll go again.
So now that we know that the front center's fine, we don't have to wait for new gears. We need help with our tail shaft. So we've popped in to see Hardy Spicer here at Moorebank. See if they can help us out. Boys here had some great ideas, some really strong ideas. So we're just waiting to hear back from them in regards to materials and what's available. Also, they've asked for some footage from GoPro on what that shaft's actually doing off-road. So we're going to put the truck back together, get one of the spare shafts in and take it for a run. Now what they're going to need from us is they want to use a 66 by 66 mil uni to Land Cruiser universal join. So I've got to supply a flange on the diff side, which is very lucky because Brian's got the diff. I know, we only put this rope on before the last run and we only really use the winch for recoveries. Once on the 80 and then a quick little one on Mark Zook. But I've been wanting to swap over winches for a while now. So Roadrunner sent me up a brand new replacement winch, the 6.8 horsepower, same winch. I love it. So what we'll do with this one is we'll find somewhere else to put it on one of the other vehicles. Shell's bar is empty. Those of you looking for a hard-working, fast, light, strong winch, you can't go past this, the X8288 by Roadrunner Offroad. You've seen the predicament Bullet Truck gets itself into, the recoveries we've done, a problem-free time we've had with it. Looking forward to putting the new one on though. So the old winch had a little bit of free play in the drum, left to right. So we're gonna open it up and have a look, and Cam says potentially we can get parts for it. So I'll rebuild this and put it somewhere else. All right, we got it apart. a lot of wear marks in there. So we'll get some footage down to Cameron at Roadrunner Off-Road and see what he can send us back. It's amazing, you know, because all the mud that we've gone through in all the years that we've had this winch on, it shows how sealed these things are. There's not a speck of mud or dirt in this thing. That grease in there looks brand new too, and this thing's never been open in my ownership of it. So after cleanup and a closer inspection, these marks here coincide with that bolt there that holds the end of the cable. So it looks like when I've changed the cables over, I didn't pay attention to the thickness of the old lug on the old cable. And when I've wound this in, it's gone past where it used to go. And then when I spooled in that one time, it's cut through the housing. So it's not going to affect the working capability of the winch. What we'll do now, I mean, the damage is done. I'll put some spacers, I'll put a couple of washers when I refit that lug, which will bring it up off the housing, and it'll go again. So this was a driver error again on my behalf. We get a chance here to check the oil and water after that charity event we just did, where we did a lot of kilometers, a lot of drive time on the motor. Look at that, perfect oil quantity and color. And water, beautiful. We were very lucky, but this is a tough motor. The old knuckles and then the 6-shooters, look at the difference. But importantly, these holes coincide with the knuckle just like the old ones did. All right, you can see the difference. There's your standard 4-bolt ones and there's the 6-shooters. There's a lot more holding force with the 6 studs. So what we've got to determine now, we've got to pick our 4 best kingpin bearings. We've got our Penrite high temperature wheel bearing grease. We've got spare knuckles, we've got parts everywhere. So it'd be good, once we get all these on, I'll know what I can keep or what I need to keep and what I'll throw. Also got these 2 bad boys out. So you remember when we were pulling this apart, how we were struggling with the CVs. So these, we're going to make a bit more clearance inside the bell here. Now I was only given 1 shim with these knuckles, so they're not the same as your normal conventional knuckle shim. So we'll have to see if I can get it right with that 1. So I'm going to sit 2 in the bottom, just tightening up the studs first. I've got to try and set the preload by using more shims in the bottom. So conventionally you'd want to use the same size shim top and bottom, but we can't do that now if I have to add to what I need. So it's all back together and it actually feels good, but it does feel nice. It doesn't feel too tight, it feels good. Geez, that side went together so well. Good clearance there on the CV. Now that changes when you throw the axle in and you try and get the axle and the CV in together, it does change. But we have taken off quite a bit more. So the only other thing that knuckle was missing were the bump stops. So we'll unbolt these here and we'll put them front and back of that knuckle. The kiss of death, that was, saying how easy that passenger side went together. So this top race here, I can't let that go. I'm gonna have to replace the race. So the little session will end here and we'll get some more parts. What a mission. Got to move all this stuff out so I can drive Orangey forward 1 meter so I can get in behind it. I've got some building material to get out for a job that I'm on. Plus I've got to try and find a kingpin bearing with a race in there for the driver's side, and I'll drag out the Roadrunner winch while we're behind here. Getting there. There's the winch. It's something we need, but I need to get right up the back. Time to get this new bad boy in. Look at that. Beautiful. like going back 10 years. A company like Roadrunner, they know their stuff. They use it. They're in the know. But the best part about being an ambassador for a company like Roadrunner Off-Road is they'll call and they'll ask me, how is this product doing? How can we make it better? They're asking the people that are out there using it and breaking it. This, for example, look at the end of this plasma. Now that is braced. So earlier on in the piece, however many years ago it was, this winch, you can see the bracing is because somebody's bent this end. They've done their homework, and it goes right throughout their range of products that they have. Another example of what I'm talking about. So the old remote control used to have to unplug the in-cab controller, plug in the box, and then the remote control would work. Now they've designed the remote control on this one where the receiver's inside the control box. So no need to be plugging and unplugging. It's genius. Back to tail shaft news. This is the multi-fit flange that we run at the front of the transfer case, back of the front tail shaft. So you can see there, they're the witness marks. So what we want to know is if we can accommodate the 66 mil. So straight away that hole there looks a bit bigger. So the Land Cruiser bolts are 11 mil. The Hilux ones are 10. So I'm hoping, where did I see it? That one and that one is 66 mil. And yep, it looks like we're lucky. So that's 66 across, and we need by 66. So if we run that and we come across to that one. And what Brian's gonna have to do when he puts the diff back together is, I'm not sure what he's going to do, but he'll do something because he's a magician. Yeah, and that's 66 as well. So we can accommodate this new shaft at this end 100%. The other thing too, we're going to do away with the double cardinal at this end. So two single unis sharing the load. With the high pinion being up this high, it's pretty much a straight shaft anyway. There's less angle on it than there is on the rear. Now organising all this over the phone with drawings, and them not having the truck, I'm hoping I don't have to take a little bit of this out, but we have to play it by ear. It's an 80 series uni at that end, whereas we before had the big double cardinal, so it should be okay. With that front center, Brian's definitely not going to have the clearance to drill new holes, so a multi-fit flange it will be. So hopefully we can find one pretty quickly, because there are 29 spline the Nitro pinion gear, and not your 27 that your standard Hilux would run. We're looking for a box that's going to have some small bearings and axle seals in it. Well, that was easy. I think this is in there. What do we got? TR 305. What are these? That's the ones. I don't think I've seen a race that bad in my hands. Look at that. So a shy under 50 years of age I am, and I have to make this announcement that this is the absolute strongest front end I've ever had in any of my trucks. And so much help to get me where I am with this front end from Brian and Adam. I couldn't have done it without you two guys. You're awesome friends and you're awesome tradesmen. We've got the hydro assist, we've got the high steer, we've got the 6-shooter knuckles, running long fields, and an 80 series high pinion center. Nitro gears, solid spacer. I know, some of you were saying, well, it's still only a Hilux housing and it's still on leaf springs. But that's how I wanted it. That's how we built it. I'm so proud that it's still a Hilux housing and it's on leaf springs. Stay tuned, we've got plenty more coming. We've got the next part of this video where we put it all together. We put a shaft in, we go driving, we get GoPro under there and we actually go and find out what this front shaft's doing. Why does Bullet Truck keep spitting out these front shafts? We've got the Tight Truck Challenge videos coming up. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, thanks for watching.